per te ad nihilum redegit inimicos nostros. Benedicta est tu, filia, ad Domino Deo excelso, pre omnibus mulieribus super terra.
Deo gratias. et Maria Magdalene, et Jacobi et Salome, venerunt corpus sugere. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. In albis sedens angelus, felixit mulieribus, in Galilea est Dominus. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et Ioannes apostolus concurrit Petrus Citius, monumento venit primus. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. O filii et filiae, ex celestis ex glorie, morte surrexit hodie. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et pane prima sabbati ad ostium monumenti accesserunt discipuli. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et Maria Magdalene, et Jacobi et Salome, venerunt corpus sugere. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. In albis sedens angelus, felixit mulieribus, in Galilea est Dominus. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et Ioannes apostolus concurrit Petrus Citius, monumento venit primus. Alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. venerum corpus sugere. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. In albis sedens angelus, felixit mulieribus, in Galilee est Dominus, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et Ioannes apostolus concurrit Petrus Citius, monumento venit prius, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. O filii et filiae, ex celestis explodie, morte surrexit odie, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et pane prima sabbati ad ostium monumenti acessemunt discipuli, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Et Maria Magdalene, et Jacobi et Salome, venerum corpus sugere, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia,
Welcome everybody here and on the broadcast. I want to thank you for joining us in this field of joy. I stepped outside for just a few minutes and I looked up at the winter sky just when a twinkling of a star hit my spiritual eye. And in that came a realization that tonight there is a gathering of stars. There are a gathering of masters, advanced souls of light to come and hear this wisdom teaching. How special is that? to have Greg Bretz here. They have come in many dimensions and many universes. And the truth of that hit me in a flash, in a twinkling of a starlight. So to get ourselves together in alignment and in harmony with this great wisdom teaching that is something fresh, something unique. Let us go into our higher self, into the part of us that is pure, cosmic, God, substance. And in that place, beyond consciousness, beyond body, beyond time, see, hear, with the mind of God, with the consciousness of the Buddhas, with the eyes of the angels. Before we have this talk, we'll have this short meditation. Inwardly pray with me. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Thou art omnipresent, Thou art everywhere. Thou art beyond the beyond. Thou art living light and living fire, clear God, substance. Come, O holy angels, come, O perfected souls, we welcome you here. Come, O Buddhas, great masters of all times and all universes. Fill this temple with your presence. Let the fire and the love of the Almighty fill each and every one here and on this broadcast. So for a few minutes, 10 minutes, and then we'll get directly into this wisdom teaching. Drop into the higher self, the eternal part of you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Very short but powerful meditation, for sure. Doesn't take long to dip into the infinite. Greg, I'm going to hook you up with, do you want the handheld, or I could give you the wireless?
Either way. Yeah, I'll get you do this.
The other way?
So your ears.
All the way down,
So, yeah. And then
kind of like
your ears.
up higher.
Sounds like.
Over your ears. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And then adjust the mic so that it comes to the corner of your mouth there. And it should be an on button that you just flip on. And then you're going to put the mic on live on the other side. On the top. The other top. Get that for you, my friend.
That sounds like the best way. Oh, that top.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's do it. Mic check.
How's that?
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Go ahead. I will put Greg's contact information, and you can post your questions in the chat.
Beautiful. Well, welcome. So happy to be here. So glad you're here. Tonight I'd like to just share a little exploration of our relationship with everything. Sounds like a broad topic. Can be, I guess. But why is that important? Simply because perhaps by understanding that relationship differently or more completely, we can learn new ways to work within the structure of all that is, to create better health, more fulfilling lives, and to transform the planet together. And so the lenses that I've learned to look through are the lenses of energy and frequency. So one of the things that the all is energy. It's all energy. And some of it's manifest into physical things, and some of it's non-manifest and not yet physical things. But there is definitely a structure that's just amazing. The more I see of it, the more just amazed I become. And one of the questions I guess I'd like to start with is, with the topic tonight, looking at why pursue or why seek higher vibration. Since that seems to be something that lots of people think is a good idea. And perhaps one starting point is, if you consider from the dawn of time, whenever we've thought of a higher power, where has that higher power resided relative to us? Up there, right? Whether it's on a mountain or up in the sky or up in the heavens, all up. And one reason for that is because structurally that's literally true to the extent that space exists in our consciousness. Our connection to that greater all actually is above us. So if you visualize a column of light that would go up through your spine connect up into the center of everything. That would be an extension of the 7 chakras that we speak about. And just imagine there's a whole column of them that go all the way up. And that those first 7 are actually the first 7 of 12 in what is the structure of what's called the 3rd density or 3rd dimension. And above that, there's 16 more that are the 4th dimension. And above that, there are 20 more that are the 5th dimension, and so on and so on and so on. And what is different about high vibration? Simply this. The higher the frequency, the more the energy is aware of its connection to the all. So the higher you go, the closer it is to pure God consciousness. Now, why is that? Well, if you look at how the all unfolds, it happens over and over. You start with oneness, and oneness then divides and becomes 2. And the structure of the 2 in this realm is that the vibration of the second part is 2,000 times lower than the vibration of the top part. That is, it literally, that energy divides and holds back energy in terms of energetic potential, and creates a gap. And this part goes out and has adventures and becomes things. And this part, which is higher vibration, and always connected to this part, no matter what it becomes and where it goes and what adventures it has, all the information gathered through all those activities is all connected back to that initial oneness. Okay? And so this happens over and over and over again, and what you have then is a structure where everything is energetically connected, and parts of the creation stay in their individuated state to hold the whole fabric together. Now, what's weird for me about being human is it's really easy to identify with the individuated state. I can look in the mirror and say, oh, that's Greg, I know him, I know what he does. I followed his adventures, right? And I know other people that are busy having their experiences being them. And I have this sense of being connected to something greater than myself. But for a long time, I didn't really identify with that as part of me. I thought of it as up there, out there. Because that's how it occurred to me. That's how I was taught to relate to it. I'm down here, it's up there. And what I found was, when I really learned how to connect to it, what I realized is that it wasn't separate, and it wasn't up there and out there. It was actually part of me, and I was part of it, which changed my relationship with Spirit. And when I think of myself as part individuated being and part of the all, and those two can never be separated, well, then I can start changing the individuated experience by accessing the all part of me. and start blending them together. And relative to frequency and consciousness, one way that translates is I raise the vibration of my being to the point where more of me is aware of my oneness, is more aware that I'm part of all and all is part of me. And the more of me that I identify as that, the more power I create to create as part of the all and to create a better experience for the individuated part. And so that seeking high vibration is what allows that to happen. You think about someone who, I imagine we all have people in our lives who don't have a connection to God or spirit. And on one hand, I want them to have that. It's a beautiful thing. And for many people, their vibration level is at a level where that awareness hasn't opened up yet. So for them, it's because we can only access the information that's in the energy that we can resonate with, that we can vibrate with. So for them, that sense of that up there, or that greater thing, there's nothing there, because they don't resonate with it, and they will when it's time. So another interesting frequency range to understand is the range between 0 and 1 hertz. So hertz is the metric for frequency, and it's just the number of cycles per second in the wave. So if you think of a wave, it's the distance between the peaks of the two waves, okay? And then the height of the wave is called amplitude. But anyway, between 0 and 1 hertz is basically everything that we would consider to be bad, dangerous, frustrating, sad, negative. Because literally below 1 hertz, the information in the consciousness doesn't have the ability to be self-sustaining. If something is vibrating between 0 and 1 hertz, it literally can't generate the power it needs to sustain. And you might be able to think of people that you know, that you might think of as evil people or bad people, that seem to always be taking energy from others. Well, one of the reasons is because a big part of their consciousness is in that below 1 hertz range, and so they're only still here because they've learned how to take energy from others. So this is also important because this is literally the source of all human suffering. All human disease is all in this range. And so if we can change our relationship with the part of us that is in that range, we then can transcend all of that suffering and disease, which is a pretty amazing thing to consider. So how do you do that? It's really simple. The reason that those frequencies occur as being unpleasant is the same reason that the higher frequencies feel good. Like if you think of like high vibration, what do you think of? Ooh, peace, joy, love, freedom, power, everything that feels good, high vibration. Well, low vibration range contains huge amounts of energy that have had the experience of feeling separate from the all. Something happened where that individuated part felt separate. And that then makes, when we vibrate at that frequency, we have that experience of that separateness, which feels bad, which is really good that it feels bad, because that's our mind and nervous system letting us know, don't go there. Now the opportunity comes when we can raise our vibration to the point where we have enough presence to not get pulled into those low vibrations, but to actually steer our way in there on purpose with our hearts open. So if you've ever, if you've had an experience of having being triggered into a negative emotion, someone cuts you off on the freeway and you get, right? What is actually happening there is what's happening in your current experience is has triggered the mind and nervous system, which is always looking for danger because it's there to try and keep us alive and safe. It's saying, what happened there is like this other thing where it felt separate and I didn't feel safe. And I'm bringing it to your attention so that you can get the heck out of here and, right, and stop it, right? So what happens is our vibration gets pulled down into that lower range where we feel awful, and it's harder to find the presence to do something constructive to get out of it. And so what we then try and do is try to not feel how that feels, and we do that by pushing the energy down to a greater density where it loses its charge. Or at least it loses its charge to the point where we can move our attention away from how bad it feels. Okay? So if that's the source of all things that feel awful, if we can create a way to be able to feel those same vibrations and not feel separate, then guess what? They don't feel bad anymore. And they don't create disease anymore. So I want to bring our attention to this thing right here. Because the heart is actually the vehicle for that amazing possibility. So in addition to pumping our blood around the body, the heart is also a huge electromagnetic engine. It creates the field, the electric field that we are. And its function within that field is to create unity and harmony. So you can think of it like a broadcast beacon where the heart is always sending out a vibration and then looking for a matching vibration. Okay? And so if my heart is open and high vibration, then what I'm feeling is love and connection and harmony. Right? Now, if I can take that high vibration down into the low vibration, instead of being triggered and lost and feeling separate, I can reclaim the territory. Because I change my relationship with that frequency. So there are a lot of people that I talk to that they've kind of had it with the world. They're kind of frustrated right now. I wish the world would just go away and just stop this. There's just too much pain, there's too much this, there's too much that. I hate it. I don't want to be here. I don't want to participate in this. I just want to go and I want to feel good all the time. I want to go up and connect to those high vibrations and live in a high vibrational world. And I would like to offer, well, I totally can relate to that feeling. I'd like to offer another way at it, which is to learn how to change our relationship with the density of the world that we live in so that it has the qualities of those high vibrational energies. So the way that we do that is we basically we open our hearts and then we can go down and visit whatever the pain is, whether it's an emotion or it's a physical disease, or it's just a negative feeling. And feel that with our heart open. And the moment we do that, there's a reunion. If we go back to that initial beginning place, whatever that was for the energies that we are, we go back and connect to the part of that energy that was part of that remembers it's part of the oneness. And those two are always connected, but we realize them inside our consciousness. So for us, this becomes one again. So to kind of give some perspective, if you take all the people on the planet and you take the median of the energy that makes up our consciousnesses, for 85% of the people, 93% of all the energy in their field is based on separation. So just take that in for a minute. Imagine you walked into a room and 93 out of 100 people was a jerk. What would your experience be? Be pretty negative, okay? And so if you think about why this is true, well, what's come in through our human DNA is generations of being on the planet at a time where the consciousness is just learning how to survive, how to get above that 1 hertz level, or how to get a little bit above that. And so we have a whole bunch of information in our system that says the world is unsafe, I'm all by myself, I'm not safe, I'm on my own, I can't do it, I'm powerless. And we're trying to have a human experience through that set of lenses. Well, no wonder it's hard. And no wonder it's frustrating. And even people that you might think, oh my gosh, this person has it all going on. Take for example, the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is 84% of the energy in his consciousness is still based in separation. Now, he has certainly figured out how to identify with that other 16%, right? Which is why. So you can. I mention this because it's really not very far from where everybody is. It's not like someone like that is at 2%. So it creates an opportunity. Because if we can learn to identify with the part of us that knows our oneness, we can raise our vibration. And the more we raise our vibration, the more empowered we are to essentially go and clean out the energy that is creating the misery and the disease and the problems. And then once that reunion has taken place, it's gone forever. There's no ongoing treatment. There's no ongoing gotta keep it up. It's just something we're no longer resisting against. It's gone. So imagine a life where you have the capacity to identify with your higher vibrational self more and more of the time. And even though we're living in a body that's telling us a story about how the world is, the more we can learn to identify with that oneness part of us, the less power what the body tells us has. Because after a while, you know, it's like if you have an older sibling that is always trying to scare you. And after you sort of get on to the game and they try and scare you, you say, come on. Well, it's the same with the body. The body would tell me that someone cutting off me on the freeway is a life or death event. I've got to track them down and, teach them a lesson. But that's not true. But that's how it feels in the body, or can feel in the body. So, again, the opportunity is learning to identify and live in the higher vibrational aspect of ourselves, and then also to proactively clean out and release the lower vibrational stuff. So this has led me to pursue something I call frequency healing. And I have been given a gift which allows a couple of things. One of them is that I have a very highly sensitive sense of feel. So I can sense the vibration of anyone or anything. And so, I can walk into a store and know what the vibrational level of the store is. Or I can pick up a book and without reading it know essentially how true it is. Or I can walk up to someone and feel their energy. And the thing is, this is not unique. We all have this feeling to greater or lesser degrees. You've had the experience of like you walk in your room and you see someone and you go, whoa, I'm not going to get anywhere near that person. Right? Because that's our feeling their vibration, right? So the second part of my gift is that I'm able to work with someone's higher self to access information about what the specific vibrations are that are causing with whatever's bothering them. So if someone has anxiety, I can feel the specific vibrations that are creating that condition, and then ask their higher self essentially, how low do we have to go? How much of that do we need to remove so that the higher self is saying that's what we need for right now? And then I can use my heart to create an electromagnetic field where the person I'm working with, their heart joins that field, and so they can then go down and have that reunion experience that I spoke of. And when they do that, the energy is cleared and it's gone. And the experience is, so is the condition or whatever's bothering them. So, and that can be applied to basically any condition where the root cause is basically it's been the body's reaction or overreaction to the environment that's created an imbalance, which is almost all, it's hundreds and hundreds of diseases and conditions. So it doesn't work for stuff like if someone's been in an automobile accident and broken, 9 ribs. Frequency medicine that I know how to do can't help repair the physical bones. But it can help the person resist the pain of having been through that trauma so that the body can heal faster. But for mental or emotional conditions like depression or anxiety or ADHD or post-traumatic stress, those are all based in these low vibrations that are just down in a place where our mind and nervous system doesn't want to go down there because it says it's just awful down there and there's nothing, every time we get down there we get lost and overwhelmed, so I'm not going there. And then instead you go down with the heart open and then you go, oh, I had this misunderstanding where I felt something was true and now that's gone. Okay? And the same is true for physical diseases, including cancer and diabetes and just, again, you name it. Many of them are, the root cause is that there is an imbalance in the body where the body is trying so hard to keep itself alive that it does something that actually is detrimental to the balance. So you remove the energy that says there's a problem, and then the body goes about making healthy cells. So that's a fun possibility. It's a different, there's a whole bunch of things that can make life much more pleasant. If you're struggling with depression or disease, that can take away from the quality of life. So there's a whole set of possibilities there. And then there's a whole other set of possibilities about being a creator. So I don't know how many of you think of yourself as, yes, I am a creator. Like I'm a mini God. I'm not God, but I'm a mini God.
Goddess.
Or goddess. Yes, the vibration level that knows we are God and goddess also knows that there's no gender. But yes, we can identify with it any way we like. And so, but you think of it from the perspective of, every day I am creating things. I am creating my experience of things. And the way that the universe works is that we can use the information and the energy of any energy that we resonate with. Okay, so you could vibrate it, you could access it, because again, you're connected to it. You just have to realize that connection. And so what that means is that if we have a higher vibration, we are then able to bring more higher vibrational energy into whatever we create. And therefore, what would be the qualities then of the things that we create if they're higher vibration? Again, they would be creations which reflected their connection to the oneness to a greater degree, and our experience of them would reflect that. So the things are going to feel better and be better because they reflect that greater truth. So one of the great advantages of raising our vibration is we can intentionally create more powerfully and more elegantly. We could create stuff more like what we want. And by contrast, if you think of the things that, if I think of the things that I've created that were a mess, that didn't go well, that I don't like, well, how did that happen? Well, as I was creating them, I was holding a vibration of that lower vibrational stuff, and it got into the mix. So if I look at that as, well, how could life be different for each and every one of us if we were able to access more of that knowing and more of that power? That if you take the capacity to create, literally to create a better world on an individuated basis, and you combine that with that greater sense of that we're all in this together, and think then, well, then what kind of world do we create? It's pretty easy to see. It could be really different really quickly, which is something that I'm very excited about and am here to contribute to in my way. And one of the ways is, again, by helping people to sort of shed the stuff that stands in the way of that, so they can create more of what they want. So what does that feel like literally? So I mentioned a few moments ago that there's the frequency, that's how close the waves are together, and there's the amplitude, that is how high the waves are. Well, it turns out, because everything came from 1 becoming 2, and then 2 becoming 4, and then 4 becoming 8, and so on, that all of the energy in the all turns out is made up of 8 core harmonics. So it's like 8 notes. And each one of these holds specific sets of information about how everything is connected together. And so, again, when you understand what those different harmonics mean, the information that they hold, you then can learn how to work with them. So I'll give you an example. The 6th harmonic holds information about one of the aspects of the relationship between our perceived individuated self and what we perceive as being everything else. And in particular, it's about the relationship between those two and how safe it is to have the border be fluid. Okay, and so if you think of how it feels if you're in a room and you can be relaxed because you're not worried about something coming and attacking you or harming you or impeding you. And so the 6th harmonic vibration, when it's high and open, is our experience of peace. And just feel how that feels in your body. Oh, I'm okay. The world's okay. I'm okay in the world. I can just be and I don't have to worry. I can just let the world happen and I could just be me and everything's okay. Wow, peace feels good. So, what's the absence of peace? It's low vibrational 6th harmonic. And what does that feel like? That's that feeling that we can have that, oh, I can't relax. It's not okay. Gosh, no matter what I do, I feel like it's not going to be okay. I've got to be on guard. I've got to be careful. I've got to be guarded. I've got to put my attention and awareness on keeping myself okay. Well, think of all of the human conditions that are a reflection of that low vibration. And then imagine life without them. How would it be to interact if we all had the capacity to hold a high vibration of peace? Don't you have to try? It's really cool. One of the questions I asked was like certain levels of vibration, like what are thresholds? And one of the answers that came back to me was that when the vibration of humanity as a whole reaches basically the dividing line between the third and fourth densities, which is at 1 trillion hertz. It's a big number. But when we reach that point where that's the vibration of humanity, perpetration would be impossible. You can think about it. If consciousness knows I'm part of the one, why in the world would I attack myself? That makes no sense. So literally, I picture this moment when there are soldiers in the field with their guns, and we hit that vibrational level, and all of a sudden they're going, what are we doing? What was I thinking? You know, I don't have to lock my doors anymore. No one would, you wouldn't steal from yourself. I can walk the streets at night. No one would attack. Women can feel safe. And it's just a matter of the experience of that vibration. So many of these things become, again, we're a long way right now in terms of the numbers. But the thing is that it's moving the vibration of the planet and of this solar system and our universe and of the people on the planet are all moving at an unprecedented rate. It's never gone faster than it is happening right now. And so what it means is, and I think of things like in my lifetime, if you had asked me in 1984, or 1988, I guess it was, when the Berlin Wall would come down, I would have said, not in my lifetime. Well, 2 months later, it was gone. Right? And that's an example of where consciousness shifted to the point where it's just like, no, 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 no. Yeah, let's do it. So again, incredible possibility that feels far away, but it isn't any farther away than that whatever set of those reunions that allow the consciousness to rise just that little bit more. And by the way, the other thing is it's not a binary thing. It's not like everything's horrible until it's perfect. That every little bit that it goes up, it makes the energy it takes for things that are bad or evil or unpleasant, it takes more energy to hold those structures together and to create them in the first place, to the point where at some point it's not worth it. It was like I had a dream once where what happened was they'd set up a system where if someone robbed someone else, they set it up so that as soon as the guy stole the wallet, that amount of money was automatically deducted from the thief's bank account. And I woke up from the stream and I said, that's a really cool concept, right? Because what does that mean? You don't have to spend any energy saying don't steal, because people just know. Well, there's no point. Why would I do that? So one other thing I want to talk about a little bit tonight is the different frequencies that we hold. So one frequency I call the physical frequency. Okay? Everyone has a vibration of their actual physical body, which is low, relatively. Because the information that's in the body is very much driven by survival. A second frequency is what I call our home frequency, which is sort of like your steady state. So it's where your system is naturally balanced. If you're either not doing something intentionally to raise your vibration, like meditating or doing something nice, or if you're not triggered into something which lowers your vibration. Okay, so sort of where you return to. And this is, it's a nice thing to know, because it kind of gives you a sense of where you are relative to where it would feel a lot better. And then a third level is I call our now frequency, which again can be higher or lower than our home frequency based on what's going on. And the thing about that is that I'd like to just share as an idea to take away tonight is how completely true it is that we choose our now frequency in every moment. Now, we may not be conscious of that ability or that that's true, but the things that either take it up or down are actually things that we are choosing based on where we choose to identify and where we choose to focus our awareness and our consciousness. So if I want to feel better, I can choose to focus my awareness on the part of me that is more aware of my oneness, and I feel better. And if I experience being triggered, there may be moments where I don't feel like I can change that. Now I've just got to be angry, or I've got to be sad. And the more that we're identified with our divinity, the more we realize, wow, what's really true is as soon as I realize I'm angry, I can choose to shift that vibration. And if I can't switch it because I've just got to be angry right now, well, then I can steer into that and open my heart and go, look, here I am being angry. Okay, yeah, that was really not nice what he did to me, and I'm going to be good and mad. I'm going to be good and mad, and okay, now I'm over it. Because once I've gotten over that need to fixate, the feeling goes away, and I feel good again. So, tomorrow and the next day, what happens? How is life different if we're walking around going, oh, do I feel great right now? I think I will choose to feel great right now. Well, that feels great. Oh, I feel really not great right now. Well, I know I just have to be here as long as I need to be, and I can choose to release the fixation on this and go back to feeling great. And if I want to spend extra energy to feel extra good, I can do that. Which leads me to kind of the final thing I want to share, which is a magic number. And the magic number is 2,000. And where 2,000 comes from is back in that initial separation. When oneness becomes two-ness, the gap electrically between the high vibration and the low vibration is 2,000 times. And the reason for that is the structure of the realm that we're in is based on tens and twos, and it's just how it is. And the thing is that knowing that can be very powerful, and here's how. Because that's the ether that we live in, 2,000 times higher vibration is a magic number. It's like it's the perfect place to focus if we want to feel better. Because it's just close enough that we can relate to it, but not so high that it seems unattainable. It's the perfect balance. So some applications for this that I would suggest. If you have the intention of, I would like to raise my vibration. I would like to realize more of my divinity as effectively as possible, and I have a meditation practice. That's part of what I do. Okay, well, if you're like me, you've learned to meditate in some way, and you go and how do you do it? Well, you go and you like focus to the place where you focus when I meditate. That's what I go where I go when I go. So here's the thought: the next time you meditate, ask your higher guidance, please show me 2,000 times higher than my home frequency, and let me meditate there. And the effect of that is that you will progress higher, because the thing is, as your vibration raises, so does the ceiling. And so it increments and increments and increments. And the thing is, you don't have to know, like, I don't know what 2,000 times higher feels like. Don't worry about it. The part of you that knows. And the thing is that once you do it, well, then you get an experience of it. And when you have an experience of it, then you start to know it with your individuated self. Okay? And then the other thing I would say about this is that if we're in a triggered state, sometimes reaching 2,000 times higher than the state that you're in can be pretty hard. Right? And so just start smaller. If I'm stuck in just overwhelmed in sadness, instead of trying to feel awesome instantaneously, I can just go, can I feel a little bit better? Can I feel a little bit better? Can I feel a little bit better? And I keep doing that, and the more that I feel better, the bigger increment I can take, and where I'm trying to get is 2,000 times. Because that's 2,000 times is essentially what we experience as a peak experience. So like if you take the most peaceful you've ever felt, you're in the neighborhood for 2,000 times higher than wherever you were then. And again, the beautiful thing about this is the ceiling keeps raising. So imagine that over a period of months or weeks or years, you could experience the level of peace that in the past was a peak experience as normal. Or your experience of loving connection, the deepest you've ever felt, is like your moment to moment. How amazing would that be? And you would not believe how close it is it's just not that far away, because increasing your vibration by 2,000 times, if you're intentional about it, can actually happen really quickly.
So what's the magic number for oneness?
The magic number for oneness, well, 1. There are levels.
Of course.
So, one way I guess I could relate it is the level of oneness that created this universe is about 1 billion hertz, 10 to the 9th hertz.
Okay.
And so if you think of, I am the God of Genesis,
Or goddess.
or goddess, yes. See, my God doesn't have any gender, so I don't even, but I stepped in it again. Fair enough. So, yes, or the goddess of Genesis, or Genesita, or... And the beautiful thing about that is that it is all relative. That is, if I hold a vibration of 1 trillion hertz, my sense of that more oneness could be 100 billion hertz. And I guess another way to answer the question is, my information is that there have been 72 of these unfoldings, levels of these unfoldings in the realm that we're in now. So pure God consciousness is 72 divisions away. So there is the possibility of identifying with a level of God that reflects those 72 divisions, where it's pure to that level. Okay?
My
Any
turn.
Beautiful.
So first, I just want to thank you for the heart chakra description and how you use it, because I think I had I use my heart chakra, but now I have like a clear, purposeful way of bringing that into the equation, in every equation now.
Beautiful.
It was a shift for me, really, because I love that, and I do that, but not so consciously that I'm going to start using that to change, help, bless, heal more often, like one of my superpowers. Because I have that. And so now I'm so conscious of it, I'm so awakened to it. It gave me a thrill. So
Beautiful. And allow me to add a layer for you. So I'll use the example, if you've ever been in imagine yourself in a big box store like a Walmart, and there's a poor parent of any gender that you happen to visualize, who's got a child in the cart that's just wailing and crying. And if you've seen this picture before, you've seen the version of the parent that is saying, "Shut up, you're embarrassing me, stop it, what are you whining about?" Right? And what is the result of that? Makes it worse. The child either cries more or completely shuts down, right? But traumatized, exactly. Okay. And so if you look at that dynamic energetically through those lenses, what helps the child? If the mother or if the person takes themselves down to the level of distress, the vibration of fear that the child is in, with their heart open, and says, tell me what's wrong. It's okay. Everything's okay. Energetically, then that allows the distress to lift because the child's heart opens and it realizes, oh, I'm okay.
I'm cared about.
I'm cared about, exactly. I'm loved. And the layer I'd like to add for the healers in the crowd is a construct to try, which is when we engage with anyone, ask your higher self to have that engagement be on 3 levels. And just trust that it will happen in the background. And those 3 levels are where that person is in this moment, 2,000 times higher than where they are in this moment, and where their higher self wants them to be in this moment. And if you hold like that chord and then interact, see what happens.
Let's all do that experiment. For all those online too, if you have a question, go ahead and type it into the chat. I think there's 9 people online. I had another part of it, but I just got lost in my heart chakra, which was, so valuable to me because this is something that I will work with every day from now on in a real positive, conscious way. I realized, like I have that gift within my heart chakra, but I wasn't using it like I can be now that I understand the frequency and the energy of the heart, how to bring that into the equation of everyday life. It was a wonderful treat for me. Any other questions? I'll pass the mic around. David, you got one?
You have to have the mic or no one will hear you, honey.
Blessings to everybody. So, my question. I think there's no question that I could ask, but more clarity of all the speech that you gave was such a teaching, and it showed me many things that I've been through that resemble that. When a mother holds a baby and she's not frustrated, the baby falls asleep. When the mother's frustrated, the baby cries more. I've seen it with my wife, Carla. She has told me, grab it, relax. It's going to go to sleep. Like that. Simple. I've done it with my daughter at the store. My daughter has autism. And she blows up, right? So I kind of grab her, hug her. Don't worry, it's fine. And the reaction of all the people around you, automatically they calm down. Even people stop staring. They start smiling. That's this whole lecture that you gave is pretty much right there. Your heart, and not to look all the way, not to look far. It's right here,
Right there.
it's inside. Look inside. That's amazing how you put it. It's like so clear. It's such a wonderful teaching, and thank you for that blessing.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. Autism is a beautiful example of most people who suffer from autism. The simple explanation is, again, there's nothing wrong. Most people who are autistic are just highly sensitive. And so they're in this body that's telling them, this is too much information, this is too much information, this is too much information. And generally we've been taught, how do you treat autism? Well, you pump them full of drugs to make them less sensitive, which is not a good, helps with the symptom, but not with doesn't make it better. But as the simple thing of a loving parent that is essentially holding a vibration, and by the way, your field, is a powerful one. So when your field says everything's okay, the heart, one of the beautiful and amazing things about a heart is something called entrainment. I spoke about this when I was here the last time, and basically what it says is, if two or more fields meet, whichever one is bigger, the smaller one tends to harmonize with it. Okay? And so if a big field says everything's okay, her little heart or his little heart will just go, oh, everything's okay. Magic. But it's physics. Right? And it's because that's just how the energy works. Yeah, well, as
Frequencies and what you're talking about all together.
yeah, and it's in the case of your child, her autism is mostly in this sixth harmonic. So her little nervous system is saying, you just can't relax, you can't be safe. You can't be safe. And so, again, those energies can be lifted, and then it will essentially making it easier for her to be as sensitive as she is. So it can be safe. She can learn it's safe to be sensitive. And again, you look around at the next generation of children. There are so many that are so highly sensitive, and a lot of the ways that we socialize is not well aligned with that. And
We're taught not to be sensitive.
Yeah, Johnny, sit. I'm sorry you have ADHD. Sit there and be still. And here's some Ritalin. You shouldn't feel like you shouldn't want to move around. What's wrong with you? Well, what's wrong with Johnny is that Johnny has a system that makes him so sensitive to everything in his environment that everything is fascinating, and that's an amazing quality.
But also on the flip side, they are sensitive to higher vibration too, right?
Absolutely. Well, which is, again, why they're here. They're here for what's next. If they were here for what we were here for, they would have come when we came, right? But there's a whole nother level that's coming onto the planet now that is equipped for what's coming. And again, if you just watch kids interact, oh my gosh, there's so much more communal, and things that existed in terms of dynamics when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, it's like so much less present. So there's so much, those limitations are so much less a part of. It's like it doesn't even exist. Like why would we make fun of that person for being different? That's just Dave being Dave. It's great. It's great. So they have a whole lot to teach us, and if we can look at how to support them so that they can bring those gifts forward, they're going to come just that much quicker, which is good for everyone.
Oh, I got my question. Last time you were here, you measured the vibration of the Temple of Clarity.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could do another measurement.
Yes. It's 10 to the 19th hertz, which, if I recall, is a little higher. I think it was 10 to the 18th when I was here before. So, way to go.
We'll keep on marching on. We're going to the absolute, I think, billionth hertz or whatever you were saying.
Well, you're actually already above. A billion is 10 to the 9th.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Wow. And one of the reasons that I presence it is so that you could appreciate the amazing space that the consciousness has created here. It's rarefied air, and that's quite a blessing for all those who gather here and all those who don't. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So if people say, hey,
2,000 times higher, we're saying to the angel Deva of the temple, 2,000 times higher.
Beautiful. By the way, an offer for anybody here and anybody out there online, if you are interested in knowing what your home frequency is, just drop me an email or a text, or give me a call. I'm happy to do that. Just tell you what it is, free of charge, just because I can just feel it. And then the other thing is, if you're interested in exploring, if you have a condition that you wonder if you could be free of it, that's something that, again, in about 15 seconds, we can come to an answer, and we can know that. And so also happy to do that. So if you have a question, and I can also do that if you have someone in your life that you wonder about. So, I've got, my grandmother has COVID. Can you help her? I can tune into her energy just by you holding her energy in your consciousness while we talk. I can access that and be able to see what can be done or what can't be done, and to see whether her higher self is open to heal. And I'm happy to do that. So, and then the other thing, if you were interested, if you wanted to explore, if you're a seeker, and so you're someone who says, I really want to raise my vibration, that's another question that we can ask your higher self, and we can do directive healing of the things that are going to help to move you the furthest, the fastest, by releasing what's holding you from that greater realization. And boy, I love doing that work. So let me serve. Love to help.
Tell them how much you charge for a session.
Okay, yes. So I do. I work either in person or over the phone. What I do, absolutely, it works remotely. So if you're not in the San Diego area, not a problem. I do 99% of my work by phone, and I charge $150 a session. And sessions are almost always between 45 minutes and an hour, exactly. And many conditions can be cleared up in a single session. And for something like an example, the people I've worked with stage 4 cancer, it was 6 to 8 sessions. So it's not many sessions to make progress. It happens really, really quickly. I'm an industrial strength answer. So, and that's the other thing I will warn. One of the things my clients all have in common is that they all are at that place where they would say, I'm ready for things to be much different right now. So if you don't want things to change, don't work with me. But if that speaks to you, because my gift allows us to work at a level that honestly most healing solutions on the planet can't get that deep. or so I have been told by the guides. And what that means is if you can cut an energy that's really low out, it can make for a big jump. So I've had clients that in a single session have had their home frequency jump by 10,000 times. That's the most, but I've had it be that much. So the world can be different a lot quicker than we think.
I have all of Greg's information in the chat, and will be on there even after this broadcast ends because it's posted and you can access it at any time. His phone number and his email address. I want to thank you for coming. God bless you, brother. I think tonight for myself was something I'm going to be meditating on. I'm going to be expanding. I'm going to I know there's many layers to what you said, and I saw it in a way that I have not seen it before, and so I'll be playing with that, those ideas, and I love those metaphors. And just to let everybody know that we'll be broadcasting again tomorrow night for the Divine Mother Worship Service, and then back to our regular schedule, Tuesday meditation. I think we will have some sort of party on a Saturday. Linda is talking about having it at her house, and she's online right now. And she says she loved what you said, and but that has not been scheduled yet. We're going to have Saturday family fun time, I call it, again, where we can get together and chat informally and share ideas and our individual experiences and add to the bigger picture of what's going on. So we're all getting these little pieces and big pieces. God bless you, everyone. We're going to sign off for now. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.